You've oft heard the fable. It is globally famous. Its lessons universal. Its purpose not heinous. It begins with a mammal, the largest in all lands, a glorious elephant, and 12 searching hands. The hands belong to blind men, an elephant they are feeling. Each touches a different part. The results are quite revealing. It's used to teach systems, an important way of thinking. There's only one small problem. Regard, a caution light is blinking. It's not a system story. It's actually quite the opposite. The plot unfolds in linear addition. In reality, quite reductionist. To justify this conclusion, the story needs retelling. And let there be no confusion, the fable is compelling. So let's revisit the story. The blind men touching and feeling, the elephant in all its glory. The story is revealing. One touches an ear and says it's like a fan. Another touches a side, feels like a wall along each hand. The tail feels like a rope, the long trunk like a snake. The tusk feels like a spear. But do these parts an elephant make? One feels a huge round leg, like a tree trunk. To be heard, he calls. Each of the blind men now sure that their part represents all. The whole, of course, is all the parts. Each blind man played his role. To reveal the wisdom of the fable, combine the parts to get the whole. Each part is important, but the question here is whether an elephant is a mere puzzle with pieces to fit together. What can we learn about systems thinking using elephants as our teachers? Look beyond any specific specimen to the herd and ecosystem features. And so that's what this story tells us, is that no matter how many times you examine the elephant in a zoo and look at its different parts and see them together, you won't understand the elephant until you understand it in its environment, in the ecosystem in which it evolved. Elephants are herd animals. They are very social animals. They're organized in matrilineal herds to take care of the young. The males are often separate, the older males, except during mating season. And they move through their ecosystem, the jungle or the savanna, in relationship to other flora and fauna, in relationship to other animals and plants. And to understand the elephant, we have to understand it in that niche that it occupies within the ecosystem where it evolves and has continued to operate. Looking at the herd, looking at the relationship between the herd and its ecosystem gives us a systems understanding. And that, of course, has to include interactions with human beings, which are part of the contemporary elephant's experience and affecting the sustainability and future of elephants. And so, as this zoo director says to the children, of course things are quite different in the wild. And things are quite different than looking at mechanistically adding up the parts of an individual elephant versus taking a systems perspective, looking at the interrelationships among the parts and the elephant in relationship to its environment. What's important here then is to understand that our conceptions of how the world operates affect both what goes in and what comes out, what we learn. If we think about things in mechanistic, linear, reductionist terms, take them apart to put them back together, then those are the kind of understandings we're going to get. If we take a systems perspective, and that's what goes into our understanding, systems revelations and appreciations is what will come out. And so I leave you with the question, what conceptual framework informs your situation recognition and sense making?